Okay, hello seniors. This is the second video for the class we didn't have today for the problems we have with the connection. So very quickly, this is a continuation of the last class. So here we have the second topic we have to be in touch with, which is classifying sentences by structure. In your book, in your books at home, you can find these topics on just 3 pages, page 326 until page 328. Okay, so let's begin with this. We have to know about 4 types of sentences. The first one is a simple sentence. What's this? Simple sentence consists of a single independent clause. Remember, clause is a sentence that can stand by itself. For example, the dog barked. I love hamburgers. She's a good student. We run. And they slept much. These sentences, they make sense by themselves. Even the fourth one, where we have only the subject and the verb, it's a full sentence. Or we can have the 3 elements, which is the subject, the verb, and the complement. So all of these are simple sentences, any sentence that can stand by itself. The second kind of sentence is the compound sentence. What's this? It consists of 2 or more independent clauses. But you have to remember to divide them or join them by commas or subordinate conjunctions. Remember, and, but, nor, for, so, yet, and, or. These are the subordinate conjunctions. And they can also be joined by colons or semicolons. Okay, here we have some examples of compound sentences. Number 1, Honduras is a country from Central America, comma, and it is the only country in the region without active volcanoes. So here we have 2 independent clauses. Honduras is a country from Central America, divided by the conjunction, and the second sentence is, it is the only country in the region without active volcanoes. 2 independent clauses divided by a conjunction. Number 2, I didn't pay attention to the class, yet I understood all the topics. So here we have again 2 independent clauses divided by a conjunction. And this is taken from a meme. You can drink lava, but you can do it only once in your life. Okay, so here we have another example of 2 independent clauses. Now we have Israeli men and women can serve in the armed forces. Semicolon, men serve for 3 years and women serve for 2 years. Remember that the semicolon can take place of a conjunction. So instead of using the semicolon, I can use, for example, so men serve for 3 years and women serve for 2 years. So that is one function of the semicolon. Another function of this is to be more specific about something you have already exposed. So we have number 1, simple sentences, independent clauses, and number 2, compound sentences, 2 independent clauses divided by conjunctions, commas, or colons and semicolons. Now we have the complex sentence. Number 1, let's read the definition. It said that a complex sentence consists of 1 independent clause that is mandatory, 1 independent clause, and 1 or more subordinate clauses. Remember, subordinate clauses may begin with a red pronoun or a subordinate conjunction. If you want to see the subordinate conjunctions, you can see this page. Okay, for example, we have examples of a subordinate clauses, that is jumping, which is blue, when they came where we live, whose opinion I admire. These sentences cannot stand by themselves, so that's why they're subordinate clauses. So here we have examples of complex sentences. Remember, the complex sentences must have 1 independent clause or more than 1 subordinate clauses. The subordinate clauses are written in green, and the independent clauses are written in blue. For example, when the rain stopped, we continued our way home. This is a complex sentence. Number 2, the children that are playing in the garden are really noisy. Remember, if you omit this, you can say the children are really noisy. But you cannot say they're playing in the garden just like that because it doesn't make sense. Number 3, the man who's watching the movie couldn't catch the dog that is barking. In this case, I have 1 independent clause, which is the man couldn't catch the dog, and 2 subordinate clauses. Number 1, who is watching the movie, and number 2, that is barking. Number 4, the people left when the others came in. one independent and one subordinate. So this combination is called complex sentences or a complex sentence. And finally, we have the compound complex sentence. What's this? It's when we have two or more independent clauses. Remember, the word compound means, just like the second example, that we must have two independent clauses. This is mandatory. That's why it's compound. But with the complex, we can use only one subordinate, or we can use more if you want. So remember, compound, it's telling me that I have to use two independent clauses. For example, when the class began, Leslie entered the room, but the teacher asked him to leave the place right away. Just like the second type of sentences or compound sentences, I need a conjunction to divide them. So the first sentence is Leslie entered the room, and the second one is the teacher asked him to leave the place right away. And the subordinate one is when the class began. Number two, as he was leaving for school, Larry remembered to take his lunch, but he forgot to report that he had finished the night before. I have once again a compound sentence, two independent clauses, and one subordinate, which is that had finished the night before. Uh, Finally, we have after having dinner, we did the dishes. So my parents cleaned the table. Remember that subordinate clauses can start a sentence, just like the first and the third example. Again, after having dinner, we did the dishes. So my parents cleaned the table. Remember to always join or divide the compound clauses or the compound sentences with conjunctions. I'm using them this example with in red. Okay, this was supposed to be for the class live, but since this is just a record, I'm going to stop here, and I hope you have understood all these topics. So, if you have any questions, please let me know on the WhatsApp group that we have in common and write me. Okay, bye.